Hello everyone, welcome to soundproofguide.com. In this video, I'll be talking about how to not waste your money on soundproofing, because the reality is a lot of people are dumping a lot of money in techniques that you don't really need, whether you're soundproofing a wall, window, or door. And in this video, I'll give you some examples of that, where if you already have steps 1, 2, and 3, probably stop there. Don't go and do 4, 5 and spend that extra money on very minute results. Now, of course, if you live beside somewheres where there's constant heavy noise, then maybe yes, you can implement more soundproofing techniques and of course spend a lot more money because you want to stop more sound. Or let's say you want to build a home theater and you really want it to not only be soundproof, but also be able to deaden all of the vibrations coming out of that room. Of course, you'll want to add more soundproofing techniques and spend more money because it's a special case. You want to stop a lot of noise. But in most cases, people just want to sleep better, hear less noise of what's coming from the wall, either outside or just from another room. They just want to hear a little bit less of the TV or people talking. And when that's the case, if it's only airborne noise, then there's a lot less steps that you need to do to really get the results. And I'll give you some examples. I'll first start with, let's say, windows. So with a window, if you already have, let's say, a double or triple pane window, the window is fine. You don't need to replace it because a lot of sound is already being stopped by the window itself. Now, what not to do is basically add a window panel. The reason why is a window panel, and I actually have a video right up here of a really good window panel that stops a lot of the noise. These types of window panels are quite expensive and they're custom made. The thing is they work a lot better. All types of panels like this will work a lot better and be a lot more effective, and you'll notice a lot more of the difference if you only have a single pane window. If you have an old window, thin, and most of the sound comes right through that window, then that window panel is going to do a great job. However, if you already have a triple pane window or a window that is very thick and a lot of the noise is already being stopped by the window itself, then spending hundreds of dollars, almost $1,000 in some cases, to add a window panel, a soundproof window panel, is not really a good place to put your money. Because if you already have a thick window, then chances are the noise isn't really coming through the window. That money should be spent on soundproofing the wall, basically around that window, because you're already covered if you have a really thick window. Now, there's not that many ways, of course, to soundproof a window. Obviously, if you're changing the window from a single pane to a triple pane, then you stop there and then you work on other areas. Now, let's move on to walls. Walls, usually I always recommend an extra layer of drywall. The thing is that is really effective. If you add just one layer of drywall or add a second layer of drywall, which would basically be 3 layers, that is actually a good place to put your money, because by adding, let's say, mass-loaded vinyl in between the layers of drywall, that will create a little bit better soundproofing. But the thing is, with mass-loaded vinyl, it also absorbs vibrations. So if you're only soundproofing a wall where it's just voices that you want to stop, then just adding extra layers of drywall is enough. You don't really need to spend more money to add things in between. If you have a brand new wall or an exposed wall where everything is unfinished, then of course adding a acoustical insulation will help, and then adding 2 layers of 5/8" drywall. That is going to create a really good soundproofing from the other side of the wall. Now, if you're dealing with a lot of vibrational noise, then I would suggest adding a resilient channel. The resilient channel, what it does, it creates a decoupling feature where it basically will stop a lot of the vibration from going from one room to the other through the wall. And also that air gap will stop a lot of the airborne noise, but it's mostly for structural noise. And a lot of people will add a resilient channel and spend the extra money when it's only airborne noise, and a lot of the time adding just a couple of layers of drywall and skipping the whole resilient channel is the way to go, because not only is resilient channel expensive, it's also really difficult in a way to install. It's not that difficult in a way that it's complicated, it just has to be done perfectly right. And a lot of people, they just mess up and they don't really get the soundproofing results. So then they have to hire a contractor or somebody to come and professionally do it. And that's a lot of added cost where really you didn't need the resilient channel because you're only wanting to stop airborne noise. So if you're looking for stopping structural noise, then yes, decoupling is a good thing. But if you only want to stop the noise of people talking, maybe loud music without really the bass, then I would just go with a couple of layers of drywall and you're good to go. You don't really need to go an extra step and spend all that money on resilient channel. Now let's move on to the doors. Now the doors, I usually recommend a door sweep because where most of the noise comes through is the gap on the bottom of the door and the gaps in between the door and the casing and the wall and all of that. There's usually a lot of cracks and gaps, and those are where the areas that you want to look into first. A lot of people will just go ahead and buy a solid core door, which is, yes, it'll stop more noise than just a hollow core door, but a lot of the time it's not really necessary to change out the door. You just have to spend maybe $20, get a door sweep, put some acoustical sealant around the door and around the casing, and I have a video right up here explaining why and where and how to do it. So make sure to check that out. And also, that's where I would basically stop. If there's a lot of noise, then yes, I would go ahead and add the solid core door. But a lot of the times you only have to spend $20, $25 and you'll be very surprised at how much noise the door sweep and the acoustical sealant, and also you can even add weather stripping around where the door meets the casing. And that'll cost you about $10 to $20 to do, versus getting a solid door is a lot of money. So by just adding the weather strip, the door sweep, and the acoustical sealant around the door and the casing, you'll be well on your way on soundproofing the door. And then if you find that it's not enough, I would go and get a solid door. But most of the time, that will be enough. You'll be very surprised at how much noise is stopped with very little money spent compared to going out and buying a solid door. So I hope some of these tips help you save a little bit of money on your next soundproofing project. If you have any questions or if you have any suggestions on topics you'd want me to talk about, let me know in the comment section below, and hopefully I'll make a video from your question. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoy this type of content, subscribe, click the like, do all of that good stuff. Until next time. Feel free to take a look at many of our other YouTube videos and also some of our articles on our website, soundproofguide.com. Don't forget to click the like button if you enjoyed this video, and also consider subscribing to our channel if you like our content.